if you're a tyrant, if you're corrupt, you really want the clergy to do your dirty work for you, to do a little infiltration, if you will. This goes back to, well, Pontius Pilate, the Sanhedrin, even into the Old Testament, the evil kings. They want the priesthood to serve at their leisure. And this is what we see going on in the 1100s. King Henry II, first off, he wants to tax the cathedrals and the churches. Also, the monasteries and the land. Monasteries were bringing in wheat, barley, wine, honey, all kinds of things. The king said, hey, I want to tax what the monks are producing. Also, the kings wanted to appoint the bishops. They don't want bishops appointed from overseas or by the Pope or any bishops who would step up to them and resist them. So the kings want to appoint and investiture controversy, the archbishops and the bishops of their kingdom. And then the tyrants don't want the church clerics to be tried in papal courts. They want them tried in royal courts. In all four of these regions, you can see that Henry II and all tyrants basically want to take the church and put it under the state and make it a department of the state. This actually happened under Henry VIII. Thomas Becket, he was not noble. He was low-born. He was friendly with the church. He had been an archdeacon beforehand. Henry II thought, well, if I put in my buddy Thomas Becket, he'll kind of look the other way and let me do what I want to do against the Pope and allow me to make the church subservient to my throne and to my scepter. When Thomas Becket was made Archbishop of Canterbury, which is the highest archiepiscopal diocese in England, when he was consecrated, at first he agreed. He even signed or agreed to sign the constitutions of Clarendon, which were the demands of Henry II. But shortly thereafter, he changed his positions, he sided with the Pope, and he resisted Henry II. Now, Henry II at some point said, who will rid me of this meddlesome priest? And some knights went into the cathedral while he was celebrating the holy sacrifice of the Mass and smashed him over the head with the sword, busting open his cranium. Now, the last words as this happened, St. Thomas Becket, on this day, 850 years ago, for the name of Jesus and the protection of the church, I am ready to embrace death. Thomas Becket entered into heaven as a martyr for Jesus Christ. When the people found out that their beloved archbishop was killed on the church floor before the altar in the church, when they heard this, they mourned and they demanded justice against King Henry II and these knights. These knights went on the run. Henry II was excommunicated. Eventually, he did penance at the tomb. If you watch the film, I believe he gets whipped and scourged at the tomb of Becket. And he promises the Pope that he'll go on crusade to the Holy Land in reparation for his sins against this holy archbishop. By the way, Henry II never fulfilled his promise. He didn't go on crusade. His tomb became the most holy place in all of England, besides the shrine of Our Lady of Walsingham. He was a symbol of the church standing up to a tyrant, living for Jesus Christ and the church as above the state, as above the king. Now, what do you think Henry VIII did when he created his own Church of England? He banned the celebration of St. Thomas Becket. He removed it from the church's calendar, and he removed all remembrance of Thomas Becket. Why? Because Thomas Becket represented the kind of archbishop who would have resisted Henry VIII and his tyranny. The United States, in the person of especially the left, like Joe Biden, they want weak, feckless bishops who will do whatever they say. They don't want an Archbishop of Canterbury, an Archbishop Thomas Becket, to say, we stand up to you. We will not allow the king or his knights, whatever the modern day version of that is, presidents, vice presidents, Congress, Senate, judges, military. We will not allow these government agencies to infringe on the rights of Jesus Christ and the Holy Church. Bishops who would stand up even unto death, having their head whacked with swords and then their brains smeared upon the tile floor of the church. Do we have such a bishop? Do we have in Archbishop Thomas Becket. My thoughts are my thoughts. I try to follow the historical, true Catholic magisterium to every jot and tittle. St. Thomas Aquinas, the 73 books of the Bible, of the Catholic canon, the church fathers. I try to do all these things. But ultimately, we need this. Thomas Becket saying to the king, with all his executive powers, no, you cross the line.